Good morning, everyone. Today, I will be presenting for the strategy of improving Frog Hill through master planning and mechanism integrated into building. For my first project, for the understanding of the site of Frog Hill, I am highlighting the journey from the kampung to the Frog Hill and the duality of the nice scenery view and inaccessible route. Basically, I want to mention that the highly inaccessible route into Frog Hill is what we should appreciate to enjoy the astonishing scenery view. The message I convey is that the process is very valuable for the results to be truly appreciated. Later then, I found out that the most fatal issue of the site is the lack of biodiversity that leads to the potential land being wasted. So I approached into the AI industry using AI to increase the biodiversity of the site in an AI approach. For example, like having data mining to extract the data from the internet all over the continent and having mix and matching of genes and even produces crossbreeds to improve the quality of animals and crops. Data mining process would match the suitable genes available to crossbreed with the animal inside and bringing them into the site. AI agriculture can predict the outcome of the crop's growth and health instantly with sufficient data. Throughout the design of master plan, I found out that the pollinators are the main factors driving biodiversity. So, by installing a nectar corridor down the trail from Frog Hill to the building, migrating birds will be attracted during the season from south to north. Then the pollinators will pollinate the flowers and crops all around the site. Research are made in the center of the building by matching of best genes to improve livestock and crops quality and even produce crossbreeds of animals, which then benefits the community by providing good food source options such as super beef or super chicken and etc. Stakeholders that are interested in farming would come to the land for good farming guidelines through AI approach. Also, the permaculture approach by having a land rotation between the livestock and herbs, the livestock would eat the crops waste and providing land hoeing, and the animal manure would improve the soil quality, forming a cycle. The land is categorized into three main sectors: the conservation park, where the original animals and the attracted animals would stay, the herbarium, that plants herb on sloped terrain, and the livestock and pastures on flat land. So, the KTM line. The KTM line is to bring in animals from outside and brings into the research center for research purposes. And the market village would sell the good quality meat such as super beef or super chickens. The slaughtering process would occur here. And the aquatic animals will stay around here. So this circle is the coverage of drone for AI agriculture and farming for surveillance and data collecting. And the red color route is the surveillance camera collecting and changing the environment for the crops. So these are the dissected master plan of circulation map and programs overview in a much more direct way and the permaculture mechanism that occur in the site. And this is the AI approach typology diagram that drives the increasing of biodiversity. Basically, the pollinator is the key that drives everything alive. The building strategy is that I create a radial configuration with circular plan with non-directional to not limit the pollinators entering the building. So the pollinators can enter the building from any angle or site. The site is chosen as it is the center of the master plan, which research could be reached out to the sector of site easily, and it has a fairly high altitude to attract flying pollinators. So the target group is the ecotourism and the researchers and workers where visitors could come to the site and learn some skills and experience throughout the journey in Frog Hill, and even purchasing customized items such as bee suit and etc. So next, the building feeling I wanted to achieve is letting people merging into the biodiversity. So I attempt to enhance the quarry lakes by creating a huge quarry with dam walls. Also, the water is good cooling agent for the hot data hall servers from AI data collecting. The duality sense stated from Project 1 is shown by showing contrast of the modern and traditional building style for respective researchers and ecotourism purposes typologies. So next, the massing and form making of buildings. It all started with a circle plan. A circle is a start-off point as it allows entities to enter the building from any directions. Then trimming the middle area, create a clear zoning and area for quarry water to flow. Then simple geometry such as oval and rectangle is added as an access point for people with strategic reason location. Then extrusion of void and masses creates an initial building form. Next, carving the building based on the contour of site and push and pull of the building stretches to give variation to the building. And finally, roof and external masses is added, forming the final form. So this is a basic zoning and circulation diagram of building and the schedule of accommodation. So this is the site plan of the building. The building is a Biota Research and Development Center. So basically, the building is an enlarged version of Nectar Corridor. And the mind behind is that the pollinators will stay in the pollinator habitat, and the building is easily reached out to all other sectors to ease researchers. Next, this is the ground floor plan. The arrangement and space planning of the building is respond to the site. So this site will be the herbs research, this side will be the livestock research, and middle would be the public common area. So basically, the outer ring would be private area and internal part would be public area. The red color circle is the main divider in 45 degrees, which splits up the internal spaces, and the green circle would be the subdivider. The main activity occur in the ground floor would be researchers' labs of livestock and herbs at the ring building, and the middle building would have public activities such as catering and food tasting area for meat researchers purposes, and the retail store for items such as startup pollinators packs or pollen allergy medicines, or even bee suit as they got stung during the journey. So the strategy of ground floor plan is that there are two main entrances into the building. One would be the closest entrance for vehicle ingress, and another one would be the entrance for people coming from Frog Hill. The zoning and circulation of public and private is blurred by separating of glass curtain wall. The placement of research lab is placed accordingly near to the sector of research scope, such as the livestock lab is placed at the right hand side near the livestock attraction point, and the herbarium lab placed near to the slope terrain of herbs and crops planting. Next, this is the lower ground floor plan. The activity occur in this level is the private parking for workers and researchers, and the meeting point for workers and researchers, and also the data hall below that submerged in the quarry water. The strategy of this floor is that the parking created is a void space left from creating of the double retaining wall for quarry water, and also the data hall is surrounded by water for cooling effect. Next, the first floor plan is the management office, placed on the highest point of terrain, and the slope terrain is suitable for plantation workshop and herb specimen area. The plantation workshop allows visitors to learn proper plantation methods, where for the middle building, there is this VR room and classroom for visitors to experience the result of AI agriculture or farming in a panoramic experience, and the bridge access connecting the office and discussion room for stakeholders and workers to discuss for AI farming, and lastly, the auditorium for visitors to understand the context of the site and the master plan strategy of AI farming. Next, this is the strategy of first floor plan, is that the office placed near to the specimen area so that workers can easily access to outside for data collection and maintenance work. Next, the roof is a pollinator habitat for migrating pollinators to stay. So the strategy is that it was sectorized to plant different species of flower and fruit trees to attract different species of pollinators. And the workshop and research lab allows visitors to learn new skills and spend more time on the roof, as it is the main focal point of building. So this will be the section and section perspective AA. The steel structure in the middle is an integrated mechanism of water sprinkler to water trees on the pollinator habitat, and it is also a telecommunication mast tower that receives data and signals from AI sensor placed around the master plans. So this will be the section and section perspective BB. As you can see, the data hall is submerged in the water, in the quarry water filled with biodiversity. So this would be some section detail and long section cut of the building. So this is the exploded axonometric elements of the building. So the sloped green roof ramp is a tribute to the journey of Frog Hill, which filled with bushes, and it connects the building from lower terrain to upper terrain, which completes the circle. So the spiral ramp in the middle is the tribute to the journey which connect from ground floor to top floor. So this is an axonometric view of the lower ground level. It is a one-way circulation parking to maximize space efficiency. So this is the axonometric of ground floor level. So as I mentioned, the zoning is blurred as the labs and visitor circulation is separated by see-through walls, so the visitor can understand the flow of research works. And the glass floor in the middle allow visitors to see through underneath the data hall to understand the building works. And the worker lift is placed dedicated only for workers at the site. Also, the quarry water is raised to waist level 1200 mm to give the sense for the visitors to merge themselves into the quarry biodiversity. Next, this is the axonometric view of the first floor level, and this is the sloped green roof as mentioned, that's sloping up. So this would be the axonometric view of the roof level. There will be a workshop and a research room. And this is the bees attraction point where the visitors attract pollinators after the workshop. So this is the 3D perspective full view diagram showing the activity points and how it sits on the site. This is the elevation view in 1 to 100 scale. So lastly, this would be some renderings of the building. So for the main exterior, the main entrance of the drop-off area, the first entrance wall is curved inwards to give a sense of entering a space where, in this case, letting visitors to merge into the biodiversity. The second entrance from the Frog Hill is a double curved wall, forcing visitors to walk in an S shape as a tribute to the inaccessible terrain from Frog Hill. So these are some renderings of the outer ring of building. So the enhanced quarry filling is created by rising the water level to waist height and installing of biodiversity such as fish, swans, and even grass, water grass, and etc. So as I mentioned, the zoning of private and public is blurred by having glass wall for compartmentation of lab and corridor. So this allows visitors to look inside the research lab while walking along the corridor. So these are some rendering for the center court of building. So the center court has a glass floor which visitors can see through to the floor below. And this spiral ramp is a tribute to the journey of Frog Hill to the destination, which in this case is the pollinator habitat. So it also have this center hydraulic lift. It is an express experience straight to the top of the building. And this is, as I mentioned, so visitors can experience themselves merging into the biodiversity as they are below the water level. So these are some rendering of the lower ground of the meeting point area and the data hall. And this is the bridge access from the parking into the data hall. So it is a water submerged bridge for cooling effect for the hot data servers. And these are some renderings for the pollinator habitat. So through master planning, the pollinators will fly through the nectar corridor to the main building and preferably stay in the pollinator habitat. Then they will start pollinating the crops and herbs around the site. So this is a rooftop garden view where visitors can experience and interact with the pollinators. And lastly, these are the renderings of the workshop area. So this is the plant workshop and this is the herb specimen area. So the plantation area of visitors and researchers shares the same area with different materials that separates them both. So this is the livestock attraction point. So the livestock will actually come from the site that attracts into here by providing food and water, and it is to ease the research of researchers while visitors can interact with the animals also. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you.